My best friend for 10 plus years ended our friendship and I can't blame her. I have been friends with, let's call her Lisa, for over 10 years now. We have been practically inseparable. We have a lot in common: painting, toy collecting, movies/TV shows, our goofy personalities even are in sync. Her daughter refers to me as her uncle. When I had my own business before the pandemic, I brought her on as an employee and she was amazing at it. And during our lowest points of our lives we were there for each other. There was never anything romantic/sexual between us. For one, I was never her type to begin with. On top of that, all the bad relationships she had in the past has made her not want to be with anyone even for one night. As for me, I saw her as a sister more than anything, and it would awkward/uncomfortable. We did birthdays, holidays, even Christmas, I'm Muslim, BTW, shopping, and just hang out at my house watching movies/TV for long hours. Things became tough when I married to, let's call her Hillary. She is the same nationality as me. I was born in America and she was born and grew in her home country. We have been married for 4 years, but due to the pandemic she wasn't able to immigrate to the US for 2 years. It was an arranged marriage. By that time I sold off my company and moved about an hour away from my old place and 40 minutes away from Lisa. By that time Lisa got a new job. Before Hillary arrived, my mother, who has been a sort liaison for my wife and I, due to the fact she is grew up with her culture and with me and the American lifestyle, told my wife about Lisa in a positive way, because for Hillary she grew up thinking that men and women cannot be more than just friends. At first Hillary and Lisa were getting along quite well. Not best friends, but trying to get to know each other. We went out to museums together, had Lisa over to our house where she fell in love with Hillary's cooking, and Hillary even did Christmas at Lisa's house. Hillary doesn't feel comfortable doing Christmas since it is a Christian holiday and we are both Muslim. I always did my best to make sure Hillary never felt excluded, since her and I don't have too many common interests unlike Lisa and I. I wouldn't say I was great at it, but I really tried my best. I wanted Lisa and Hillary to become fast friends and see Lisa as a member of the family like I did. Hell, even before I met Hillary I always imagined my future children looking at Lisa as an aunt in the future. Soon after, Hillary became pregnant and gave birth to a beautiful boy. That's when things started to go downhill. The first incident was about 2 to 3 months after our son was born. Lisa was going to come and visit. Normally she comes by at 2, but that day she came at 12. This really irritated Hillary and she refused to leave the bedroom with the baby. On top of that, Lisa stayed for longer than Hillary wanted. For context, this isn't something abnormal for Lisa and me. Before Hillary, Lisa and I would hang out almost a whole day watching movies and catching up with everything going on with our lives. Afterwards I was given the silent treatment for a week till my mother had to come over and to mediate, where I had to agree that Lisa would not be coming over for about a year. I still made time to hang out with Lisa, but I had to do it behind my wife's back. Stupid, I know, but it came to a point where mentioning Lisa's name would trigger my wife. However, she did agree to do Christmas again, but even though it was a nice time, Hillary was not happy afterwards. She was upset that Lisa didn't properly greet her right away when she came over, because Lisa was focused on the baby. But what really upset her was that among the many snacks and meals they made, one dish contained pork, which Lisa made us aware of before we started to eat. For me, growing with American friends, it was common that they would some dishes with pork that I wouldn't eat, but to Hillary it was extremely disrespectful to serve a pork dish with Muslim guests even if there are other options available. My mother also agreed with that. By March things were very tense between Hillary and I. She found out about me hanging out with Lisa behind her back, as well as lying to her about eating unhealthy foods when I was on a diet. I have high cholesterol, and keeping a distance from her more and more, till finally I broke down and told her all of what I've been feeling. That I don't feel any love coming from her. It woke her up a lot, realizing how I felt. She made more of an effort to be a better partner as well as I, and we had been in a better place. Our son's first birthday was coming up and Hillary wanted to do this big extravagant celebration. Hillary even asked me to invite Lisa for it, which I was really happy about. Party went fine although, and I did my best to make sure that the time I spent catching up with Lisa without giving the perception that there was more going on. Towards the end of the party, Lisa was getting ready to go but asked if my son would open up her gift so she can send pics and video to her daughter who moved out of state. I grabbed Hillary and we opened up the gifts, no problem, or so I thought. Days after the party, Hillary was acting real cold towards me. I had been racking my brain trying to figure out what was going on, but in the back of my head I just knew it had to do something with Lisa. After almost a week she finally admitted to me that it looked like to her that asking her to come and join us to open the gift was a last-minute thought on my part and that I was going to do it without her. I told Hillary that was never my intention. The amount of hell I would get for doing such an act would be insane. Doing something like that would not only be disrespectful but just plain stupid. Of course I was going to ask her if we could open her gift real quick together. After multiple attempts to convince her, she believed me and we have been good since. August rolls around and I asked Hillary if I could invite Lisa over to hang out, which Hillary was okay with just as long as she doesn't stay way too long. I asked Lisa but she was going on a trip at that time, but I couldn't help but notice it was a cold response. The following month was my birthday and Lisa mails me a bunch of gifts. I call her a couple days later to thank her, and that's when she dropped the bomb on me. Lisa says that I have a family now and she understands that they have to be my priority, and she knows that Hillary is uncomfortable with her being around me. She tells me that we don't talk as much anymore, and when we do it's always when I'm driving home by myself. How I've been sneaking off to hang out with her. And she doesn't want to feel like us being friends is going to be something we have to keep a secret. She didn't say she is ending our friendship exactly, but for her mental health and for my family, it's best if we stop talking and hanging out now. I'm not going to lie, I'm very hurt by this, but at the same time a bit of relief came over me in the sense that the reason a lot of Hillary and I's fights happen will no longer be a factor. I told Hillary this and she acted shocked. I think in her head she believed that whatever she felt towards Lisa she was able to keep it well hidden, which obviously wasn't. I didn't have the energy to explain how her actions and behavior are the reasons why my best friend is longer in my life. I'm pretty heartbroken about this, someone who I have known for over a decade now. A person who I thought my kids would call on to Lisa when they learn to talk. Who gets excited about the same things I do and talk to for hours is no longer in my life. My wife does try and we do enjoy doing things together, but she doesn't have the same excitement that Lisa does, and Hillary isn't into everything that I'm into. She won't see how cool seeing a transformer that can turn into Sega Genesis is. I'm going to miss my friend. Before I go, I want to say that my wife is a sweet, kind, and loving person. We spend a lot of time together and have our own traditions, activities, and routines which I love doing with her. I know that I'm bashing her in this post, but it's an honest account of what happened. There is probably more I could elaborate on, but either I forgot to mention and chose not to go into. I'll be happy to answer any questions I feel comfortable answering. Comment. Your wife was always looking for reasons to hate Lisa. I said this as a response to another Redditor, but you sneaking around turned Lisa into the other woman and you tainted your friendship because you selfishly wanted to enjoy your friendship without fighting with your wife. You're just as at fault for how this turned out as your wife's insecurities and jealousy. You brought a traditional Muslim woman into your American lifestyle and you tried to give the surprised PK face. What did you think was going to happen? Everybody sing Kumbaya together and your wife just accepting without a word that you have only a friendship with Lisa because she didn't give you a chance? You emotionally cheated on your wife even before you married her. Did you give Hillary a real chance in this, or was she going to be the monster and you the victim from the beginning because you did not have the spine to say to your family that you don't want an arranged marriage? Your wife is not an NPC in your life to interact with her however and whenever you want. You paint your wife in the worst possible way. She probably had to go through major cultural shock and probably found out that you and her didn't have much in common and you preferred Lisa. You were emotionally distant with your wife because of it. Hillary was jealous, no doubt. But you chose to marry someone who was conservative. Lisa deserved better treatment than that. I don't think you love your wife at all and she can tell. Your emotional needs were met by Lisa, so you never went to your wife for anything from the sounds of it. 1000 times this. I'm 54 also, and my oldest male friend has been my best friend for 40 years. He's my brother. There's no romantic, or otherwise, relationship that could jeopardize my friendship and love for that man. People who I cared for and loved and who were uncomfortable, insecure, with our relationship, I had to have serious talks with and communications with, but they were made aware that I won't be cutting my friendship over anything and anyone, period. It's all about communication and in some cases time, so people can really see the meaning of that friendship. And at this age, I really don't have patience for people who are not mature enough to realize that. I feel really sorry for both Lisa and Hillary. Hillary is in a new country, with different rules and ways to interact with the other genders. I really think you need to support her through the transition phase, years into the future too. She's got a very black and white religious view to relationships, which will not help her integrate into American society. She will always be an outsider if she can't understand how culture operates in your society. Your child will have a tough life between two cultures if you don't find a balance here. It will continue to create tension. You don't need the future immaturity and drama, nip it in the bud now and communicate American cultural expectations to your wife now, in a non-judgmental and educational way. Your wife is your number one priority, put in the work so you can be in the best partnership ever. Lisa is a champion. She really tried but understands she needs to give you distance to grow your relationship with your wife. She has a lot of grace. I think you will always be best friends. In spirit, I would let her know how much she impacted your life, that she was a best friend ever and you will always wish her the best in life. Close that chapter and be thankful for it. Exactly. Other people are like, oh, you had such a good friendship with Lisa and your wife is just a jealous, manipulative bitch. I won't be jealous too. I'd hate Lisa too. Most people would. Especially when, like you said, she's home with a baby. She's postpartum. She's adjusting to moving from a different country, the culture, and the fact that he's hanging out behind her back. I get it, that's clearly his best friend. And friendships are subjective, but like, I have best friends and I'm just not obsessed with them like he seems to be with Lisa. And it's one thing to spend time with your friends, but it's important to understand time management, especially when you're in a relationship. There's also this thing called emotional cheating. Also, this is someone I suspect he actually does like romantically. He stated that he's not her type.